Our final panelist today is Melkeet Sandhu, who is a community organizer at the David Suzuki Foundation for the Charged Up program. The Charged Up team supports cities across Canada in transitioning away from fossil fuels and towards 100% renewable energy. Melkeet's work within Charged Up focuses on engaging racialized communities from the 905 region. Melkeet came into the climate solutions space with a background in ecology and public health, as well as years of experience organizing with racialized communities in the arts and culture and political space. She's passionate about being a climate leader because she feels that the climate crisis is the largest threat to public health and equity, but also the potential to catalyze unprecedented and impactful change. So, Melkeet, yours. Okay.
Yes, we can. Well, while we wait for that to show up, I'll just say yes. My name is Melkeet, and like Victoria said, I'm a community organizer with the David Suzuki Foundation, but specifically for our program called Charged Up. Before I talk about Charged Up, sorry. Before I talk about Oh, I think this is the wrong presentation. But you know what, who cares? Who needs slides anyway? So just ignore this. So before I talk about Charged Up, I want to give a very quick shout out to one of our programs called Blue Dot. Has anyone here heard about Blue Dot?
Which one is it again?
This one, yes. There you go. Thank you. Yeah, so back to it. I wanted to give a quick shout out to Blue Dot. Has anyone here heard about the Blue Dot campaign? Awesome. Okay, so maybe I don't have to explain. But essentially, what Blue Dot is trying to do is get environmental rights recognized in our Bill of Rights. Right now, it isn't. It is done in I think 110 other countries. They're pushing for that to happen here in Canada, and for that, they are collecting pledges from MPs, candidates, but also from people like us. So we can take that back to the federal government and say that this is something we want recognized in our Constitution, our Bill of Rights. So the reason why I'm shouting them out is we do have Blue Dot volunteers here today, and they have a table set up outside. So if you want to learn more about this movement and connect with them and sign the pledge, you can definitely do that during the lunch break today. Okay, back to Charged Up. Okay. So back to Charged Up. So what does Charged Up do? Basically what our goal is to help Canada be on track to meet our IPCC emissions targets. And we're doing this by helping support Canadians in accelerating the transition towards renewable energy and away from fossil fuels. So very much so focused on climate solutions and how we can get Canadians to implement climate solutions in their own lives, but also at the systems level as well. More specifically, we work with city builders. So we chose to focus on the municipal level because 50% of the carbon emissions in Canada actually fall under the municipal kind of jurisdiction. So that's buildings and transportation, and so we found that that's where we would have the most impact. But the second part of what we do is it's trying to inspire, engage, and organize communities. Because what a lot of people know is in order to actually get governments to put forward policies that are going to make a difference, we really need the public to be behind that and to back that up and to give the social license for those policies. So that is what Charged Up does. So this is kind of how we do our public engagement. So a big part of our public engagement is storytelling. So right now what we find is that polling shows that Canadians are very, very excited and very supportive of renewable energy, but if you ask somebody to name a renewable energy project, they probably won't be able to do that. And so what we're trying to do with our storytelling is shine light on actual successful solutions on the ground. So if there's a community who set up a renewable energy project, highlighting that story and sharing that with the community so people can see, okay, this is already happening, the transition is happening, these are the people that are behind it, they look just like me, they are not any different from me, and I can be a part of that too, and I can do this as well. The second part of it is building capacity in communities, so helping communities get the tools, resources, knowledge, community connections that they need to actually be able to do this transition. Third is building a network of champions. So there's people all across Canada that are doing really, really amazing work, but they're kind of working in silos right now. And so what we're trying to do is trying to connect them at the local level, but also nationally. If you have great people doing work in Vancouver, we want you to be talking to people doing great work in Toronto so that you can share ideas, collaborate, and create even more impact. And then the last thing is using all of this, the storytelling, building capacity, and this network that we're building to create a collective voice for policy outcomes, because that's how we really are going to get our governments to make a difference and put forward meaningful policies. So this is just a slide showing some of the storytelling that we do. So we have just community-based renewable energy projects. We have a story about labor unions and environmentalists getting together. And one very random but cool one about how theme parks are now an ally on the climate plate. Okay, so what do I specifically do for Charged Up? So like my bio mentioned, my focus is very much so on working with youth, women, and racialized/newcomer communities. And I do this mainly in the 905 region, so areas like Brampton, Mississauga, the suburban regions essentially outside of the downtown Toronto core. And I mostly also work at the municipal level, so getting cities to take action and doing that by getting the support of racialized and newcomer communities. Okay. All right, let's just get off on that. There's one side, yes. So this is one example of how I've taken action at the local level, or helped people take action at the local level to be correct. So here is a pictures of 7 middle school students from the city of Mississauga. And they actually got together and they organized themselves and their community to get the city of Mississauga to declare a climate emergency. And I was lucky enough to be able to support their work. I helped them with their deputation, coordinating with city council, getting the local community of Mississauga involved, and getting the media involved. But on June 19th, they were able to successfully get the city to declare a climate emergency. And this is just one example of how we're empowering, organizing local communities to take action at the city level. And as you can see, it's a very diverse crowd here, so this kind of fits into the work that I do around racialized communities as well. Anyway, okay, I got it. Yes, so what is our organization doing going forward, and what am I doing going forward? So I started a program called 905 Talks Climate, and essentially what we're trying to do is just engage 905 communities, specifically racialized communities, to come together and talk about climate and talk about how we can be part of climate action, but also how these communities are disproportionately going to be impacted by climate. Anyway, our first event is on November 4th. You should all come. But yeah, this program is taking shape slowly. But yes, thank you so much.